We just spent $1,000 powering this account to City Hall 25 to show you the very best Heroic Anthem has to offer. Stick around in this video for a full breakdown of everything you need to know, and yeah, we paid to get you this information, baby, so I hope you enjoy making your way through all of the sweet stuff that awaits you in the Heroic Anthem. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming. We just power leveled this account from City Hall 16 all the way up to 25. It was a crazy live stream so that we could show you this. In the Heroic Anthem, there is a lot of really important stuff you need to know, starting from the fact that you've got to be City Hall 25 to even enter this very advanced form of KvK. In this video, we're going to cover the new buildings that are available to you, the incredible research that will be at your disposal, as well as some things you need to know about the map that are very, very different, and the commanders as well, because, yeah, you actually can take two commander skills and add them to your march's capabilities. Literally, two support skills you can add to your marches. It's really wild. We're going to cover this as well. If you like Rise of Kingdoms guides that help you get value and smash your enemies, consider smashing that subscribe button for daily Rise of Kingdoms videos and coverage of the newest, hottest things as soon as they happen, even if it costs me. Now, I want to start with the two new buildings that are a huge feature of this KvK format, and that is the Crystal Mine and also the Crystal Research Center. You're going to want to place well in the Eve of the Crusade, if at all possible, so you enter into this game mode with some crystals to use for both upgrading your crystal mine and your research center. These crystals are going to be required to do upgrades and also to do the research that is available in the center. Your crystal mine is pretty straightforward. You go on in, you spend resources to accumulate some amount of mining that will take place. You can see here I've got 5.5 hours of time left in the mine. If I want to add an hour of time to it, I can queue that up now. It adds it on, and the crystal mine is off to the races. Now, you will get some things that upgrade your crystal mine, so you're going to want to power up this crystal mine, leveling up this building, which you can do many times. I was sort of astonished that, yeah, this is a building you can take all the way up to level 25, as well as your research center up to level 25. Very astonishing to me that this is a building you will level up potentially a whole heck of a lot in your KvK. Now, each of these buildings is offering a benefit as you level them up. In the case of the Research Center, you are getting decreased crystal cost for doing research, which is a big deal because this research is nutty. I'm talking massive, massive boosts, starting with simple things like 10% attack, 10% defense, and heck, even things to go and battle Barbarians. This is damage dealt to Barbarians, upwards of 70% boost over here, and further in the tree, 130% boost, which is pretty wild, although we'll talk about why you're going to need that in a moment. Some of the other research I found to be fairly astonishing is that you can increase the troop capacity you bring on the field very, very much. In fact, 50% more troops in total with your research was nuts. You can increase your rallied army capacity by 50%. There are some pretty huge implications here for what a spender is going to contribute and what a free-to-play player is going to contribute in KvK. I do think that the rally and garrison scene, depending on how easy these crystals are to obtain, will be dominated based on the big spenders initially, and your primary role as a free-to-play player is going to be field fighting and reinforcing. Here you see you can boost the reinforcement capacity, and I've got some concerns that you can reinforce your city's capacity, although I'm not sure I saw the technology to boost the reinforcement capacity of a structure. There's some pretty profound implications, but we're going to cover the technology in a different video more in depth. Let's very briefly, however, cover a little bit of the economic technology. They call it fundamental technology here. This is going to improve your crystal gathering and workload and action point recovery, as well as even your action point cap, which is pretty exciting. You also can reduce the crystal cost of doing more research. There is some very astonishing stuff in here. At the very top, there is a whole lot of gathering speed. there is a whole lot of crystal cost reduction for the research at your crystal center. So that seems like something you'd want to invest in pretty early on, if at all possible. Huge amounts of AP point limitation elevation here. 300 more AP cap is kind of exciting. A lot of really interesting technology here. Even a boost to the crystals earned that you get from completing Bastion Commander quests, and we need to talk about those in a moment as well. For those of you that are spenders, there are ways to get crystals very quickly. One is a Conqueror's Will super value bundle. There's 47 days remaining on the purchase time for that, so that's the duration of this KvK. That bundle will be available to you. In addition, there is an update to the supply depot. You can see there is a premium season crystal supply for $5. That is a pretty small amount of money, but I don't yet know to be able to advise you how meaningful the amount of crystals is here. 3 million sounds like a lot, but that may go in the blink of an eye, especially because it's divided up among days throughout the KvK. So what I do like about that is it's kind of like buying your way in a little bit to some of these rewards, if that's a thing you wanted to do, getting more legendary commander sculptures or material chests or whatever it is, because you can use that to get more of that currency when you complete your research, which is available to you again in the Crystal Research Center. You can see the amount of season coins you'll get for completing the research tied to each of the items that you're going to research. Now, why did I mention that you're going to need extra damage to Barbarians? The base level of Barbarian here is level 41. In order to attack other levels of Barbarians, you are going to have to power through, starting with beating a level 41, then a 42, then a 43, and so on. And the feedback that I've gotten on these Barbarians is that they are incredibly difficult to beat. You're going to want to bring multiple marches to knock these out, or bring a friend. And yeah, in our kingdom, I'm quite confident that we will be bringing large groups of people roaming around the map, taking out these Barbarians, who, by the way, are going to require a hefty 100 action points before the peacekeeping talents that will reduce the action points by 10 per. Now, while we've made our way to this screen, we should talk a little bit more about these support skills. What are they and how do you get them? The support skills you equip to specific commanders. We've got some of those details listed here. Each troop can equip 2 support skills from Bastion commanders, and each support skill can only be equipped to 1 troop at a time. So there is going to be a limit to how many of these you can have deployed on the field, which means you're going to want to unlock all of the different skills that have become available and deploy them as best you can. The problem with that is that in order to get these skills, you're going to have to power them up from bastions. Now, I'll show you those in a second. Before I go there, I want to talk about very briefly how these skills work, because these are skills from commanders that are already in the game. It's picking a skill from a commander that is in the game, and your skill level on your commander is what you would get if you were to unlock it and apply it to your own commanders. So in this case, Master Strategist is from Sun Tzu. When you expertise your Sun Tzu, or even just max the 3rd skill, troops led by that commander will take 10% less damage and have 10% more infantry health. That's just an example of one skill. Here's CPOs, which when maxed will increase your troop capacity by 10%. Now, when I say when maxed, that's maxed on your commander. In order to unlock it, you've got to get it from one of these bastions, as I was describing earlier. If I zoom way out and I hit the explore marker, which I actually happen to already have active, I can look around the map and see some of these green markers, like all the way up here. We can see this one. This is Sun Tzu's Bastion. Now, in order to actually unlock that skill to use on your marches, you're going to need to go in and upgrade your favor with this commander. You get your favor to level 6, and that looks like that's the point where you unlock the support skill Master Strategist to deploy to your commanders. Now, to increase your favor, you're going to have to do quests. And to even be able to interact with this bastion at all, you're going to have coalition territory. Not alliance territory, but coalition territory connecting with the particular bastion that you're trying to do the quests for. Now, I've seen a variety of these different quests, from gathering resources to, in this case, defeating some barbarians, and that is going to give you a hefty amount of crystals, or at least it seems hefty when you first enter into the new format of Kingdom versus Kingdom Heroic Anthem, because you start with 0 crystals and you're going to want a lot fast. In fact, on the topic of entering into this mode, you'll notice that there's a lot of fog here, and when you enter, it's going to be fully 100% fogged. You're going to want to enter into this Heroic Anthem KvK very quickly, because after you enter, you're going to be 100% fog on the map, but when more of your alliance members join, it actually will clear the fog around them when they enter. That will only work if you enter before those alliance members. From there, you're going to want to use your scouts to explore the map. And my strong recommendation to you is to pick corners of the map where revealing the corner will force a scout to walk all the way around the edge. So for instance, if I make my way to being able to scout this corner over here, which I can't right now because you always have to scout adjacent territory. But when I scout this corner, if I were to be able to do that now, the scout would come in over here. It would scout all this area. It would run all the way around to the nearest pass, which might be back up here, around here, scout all this area. So getting corners that will edge your way into new zones is a really great way to more lazily go about exploring large portions of the map, because you don't have to send your scout around every couple seconds here. Now you may be wondering, hey Chisgule, all of this sounds really interesting, but talk to me about the rewards, buddy. And there are some really interesting rewards. The Crusader achievements have changed. The honor roll has changed for this KvK, as well as the Twilight, of course, because the map is new. I'll cover these Crusader achievements very briefly because there's 2 types of currency that you want to get. One is a premium currency that you're going to use to unlock the top tier KvK rewards. Another you get from doing crystal research, which also has some really nice rewards. We will get to those very soon. The first thing I want to point out is that you can get some of the premium end of KvK reward currency by taking out 30 million troops. Now look, you have to take them out from other camps. That is really important. So you can't cheese this by, I think, defeating your own farm's troops. You are going to actually have to participate in a meaningful way in the combat in the KvK. And 30 million is a good number. It's not an easy number to hit, but for the folks that are very actively playing, that are at a moderate power level, this does feel like an upper end but achievable objective. Upper end, make no mistake, but achievable. Cruising through additional objectives here, at the individual level, you'll even get some legendary commander sculptures for completing some of those quests given by Bastion commanders. 650 quests feels like a lot of quests, and that is the benchmark that they seem to be setting here. So if you're a very active player, you're going to have a lot to do, and it ultimately will be rewarded as you gain favor with all of those different bastions. Learning support skills, as you see here, is also rewarded, and if you can unlock all 14, which actually feels like a hard thing to accomplish to me, because you actually have to be connected to all the different bastions, you will be able to get some additional loot. Worth mentioning that commanders can be stationed in multiple bastions and offer the exact same skill. So there is going to be opportunity to get some of these skills from multiple locations on the map. So just because a commander isn't like in your starting zone, for example, or is in an enemy starting zone, doesn't mean that you won't be able to access them. There are multiple versions of each commander, it seems, or at least some of them, from the scouting we've done so far. Now, instead of alliance rewards, you've got some coalition rewards, and this is where I'm very happy to see some legendary equipment chests, as well as more of the very premium currency here for end of KvK rewards. Controlling the Great Zig is one way you get that. Taking out the Crusader Fortress of another camp or 2 other camps is another way you can get some of this very premium currency. And I do think that's going to be very hard to do, to take out 2 other camps, quite frankly. I think it's going to be very hard. At a camp level, there are some pretty basic rewards. Nothing too crazy here. At a camp level, everybody will get some legendary commander sculptures. And by camp, I mean all of the kingdoms that start in your corner of the map. If you're new to the layout of the map, here is a view of where all of the bastions are that I've found, but it also lays out the map here. Each of the corners is where people are going to start. And yeah, the start of this is a little chaotic. You know who is in your kingdom versus kingdom because you just did Eve of the Crusade, but you don't actually know who you will be paired with until the end of the Eve of the Crusade. Now look, I actually kind of like if they're using that Eve of the Crusade data to like determine what a fair KvK matchup should be. But you can certainly expect a little bit of chaos at the start of this KvK as people scramble to figure out like, hey, where are people going to put their territory? And like, where should they put their forts? Where should they go based on which commanders and buffs are going to be available? And you can see here, by the way, that Boudica is available in these 2 places that we found so far. The exact same skill, 2 places, which is kind of exciting to see them show up in multiple places. Now, from a reward standpoint, there is some pretty exciting stuff here. This currency over here is from your crystal research, and that's one of the reasons you're going to want to do a lot of quests, get a lot of crystals, get that crystal mine going really early on. There are a bunch of legendary commander sculptures available, and people have already started to claim those because you do get a lot of this currency from your research. Premium city skins are here as well, such as the Divine Abode, which I've been using to rally with cavalry for quite some time. It also has passive resource generation from your production buildings, which is really quite good. These items we showed in a previous video when we highlighted that Heroic Anthem was coming. Worth mentioning that for some reason the Topkapi Palace is considered an ultra premium city skin, and they're requiring you to have 6 of the KvK currency. You can't actually accumulate that much of this premium currency in 1 KvK, at least from what we've seen so far. So that seems like something that's really out of reach. I think getting even just 1 of these legendary patterns will be a pretty major accomplishment. 2 is achievable, but difficult to obtain. Also worth mentioning that crafting these things costs an astonishing amount of legendaries, so perhaps for most players, the better objective anyways should be some of these accessories, which, okay, those cost a lot of materials as well, or just one of the city skins, some materials, legendary commander sculptures. Those all seem like some fine rewards to pull down. Now, there is one other place you can get some of that currency. You need to get rewards at the end of KvK. That is from honor gain. At an individual level, the rewards are really quite remarkable, offering a huge amount of equipment material choice chests and conquest coins to the victor. The top 20 placements get some conquest coins, and that really is the chase item for honor now instead of city skins. I think that's an interesting choice, and I think part of the reason they're making that in this KvK format is that the kingdoms that experience this will have done 3 KvKs already, so it is a more sort of advanced reward for more advanced kingdoms. Other ranks are rewarded as well. At a coalition level, there is a small amount of legendary commander sculptures for your coalition. A coalition in this case, by the way, is a merging of several alliances into a single group that can reinforce each other's structures. We'll talk about coalitions in just a second. And there are also camp level rewards. That's everyone who starts in the same corner, which are pretty mediocre. Now let's talk for just a second about coalitions, because the coalition screen is pretty exciting. You go into alliance and boom, you'll notice something is really different here. Each of these top menus is related to your coalition. And what I thought was pretty cool is that you can get helped by all people across all alliances in your coalition. And there can be multiple alliances in that coalition, by the way. There is a coalition forming screen, which you can see here. I'm in Fire and Blood. UCS is the coalition leader in this instance. Now, I like the coalitions a whole heck of a lot, and what I will say is a little bit of a bummer is that you don't get the alliance gifts from everyone in the coalition, it seems. It looks like you're only getting those gifts from your own alliance. Sort of a bummer, because can you imagine the number of gifts you would get if multiple alliances are grouped up together? Oh my gosh. So insane. So insane. And we got confirmation that at least at the time of this recording, that's how it was working, because I was wailing like crazy to get to City Hall 25. You really should check out that live stream. It was very fun. Card up in the top. Oh my gosh. It was nuts. I didn't think you could get to City Hall 25 as fast as we did. And we verified, because I was spending a whole bunch, that like, okay, my alliance was getting the chests and other alliances in the coalition were not. Now, there are ways to add more alliances to your coalition in this KvK, and that's going to come in part from the structures. I think there might even be something in the Twilight rewards. So you're going to want to stick around as we live stream more of this KvK. So consider subscribing to the channel and throw a like on the video if you found it informative, so that you don't miss a thing and you let me know, hey, Chisgule, I'm really interested in seeing more of this stuff. Thanks for wailing like crazy to bring this crazy insane content to me. I look forward to exploring more of the Heroic Anthem with you, and until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom. And oh, if you're still in an earlier KvK, like Season 1 or 2, I'll have my Ultimate KvK Season 1 and 2 guide up top. Check that out, and good luck.